Hello, hi, nice to meet you, and I'm very excited to talk to you about Atomfall today.
Yeah. My name is Ryan Green. I'm Art Director for Atomfall.
Thank you for talking to me and taking some time. So Atomfall was a really cool alternative history, and I have been doing a little bit of research on the Windscale disaster. And I don't know about you, but I like watching stuff like that with the eerie music comes on in the background and it tells you like all of the story, like what went wrong. But is there anything else bigger than Windscale that influenced Atomfall? What other kind of parts of history did you pull on?
So there's definitely some Cold War elements, a little bit of Cold War paranoia, and obviously back then, tying into the nuclear things that were going on, like you wanted to keep that secure. So there was a little bit of that general paranoia of post-war. Could things start kicking off again? That would be one thing. Other things, kind of like older era, like sci-fi stuff.
Yes.
So look like John de Wyndham was a big writing influence for us. So looking at his stuff like Day of the Triffids and stuff like that, and just odd, like speculative kind of fiction was great. And then besides that, kind of folk horror-y kind of stuff. So think like The Wicker Man,
I
things
kind of
like that.
had a little bit of inkering of that, which is really cool to see. Kind
Midsummer,
of like how you're
things
bringing that
like
in.
that. It's kind of cool. Just that kind of conflict between urban modern society and rural, things that might happen out in the woods. So playing with some of that
I'm
too.
excited to see
Just
what
fun.
does happen out in the woods. Leading on to that as well, obviously, like you were saying, like a lot of the nuclear paranoia, Cold War paranoia, all of that kind of stuff. Was there anything like specific in that area that kind of like really influenced, like obviously where the area was based around? Did you have to go there to study the area to like build that out? How did that happen in terms of world building?
Yeah, I'm American, so when I came over for the job and to make this very British game, it took some education on my part to get up.
Are you now a big fan of tea?
Yeah, big fan of the Lake District. Tea is growing on me. I came up in Seattle, so yeah, Starbucks coffee a little bit still, but we took a lot of trips up to the English Lake District, and we wanted to do this post-apocalyptic game that was green and beautiful and just distinctively different than what you would normally see in a lot of spots. So we did that. Lots of photos, lots of recce's, lots of little tiny roads we drove around and interesting things. And I think we got a good, like, dense version of the highlight reel of the lakes, which was great.
From what I've seen so far, it very much does. You can kind of pretty much instantly see like, this is England. We know where we are. We're in Britain right now. It's very clear. So I feel like you guys have definitely done a good job there.
Thank you.
In terms of the like survival element that you guys have kind of put into the game, what kind of dilemmas can we expect to kind of run into? Obviously you guys have got like the radiation and stuff like that are in people's minds, but like what other kind of things can we expect to be facing that maybe we haven't thought of yet?
Yeah, there's a lot of different interesting threats, both environmental threats and things that have happened to the people and the animals that make them a little different than how they normally are. So that's a good one. But also various factions up there might have their own ways of surviving and or making use of who might stumble into their territory. So you got to watch out for them too.
I am feeling more scared currently of the like just normal everyday people than I am of like the animals that might be a bit screwy, because I feel like with them it's a bit more like it's not their fault. But with the people, there's like a reasoning behind the way they're doing things, and that's scarier, I think.
Yeah, it's always the good ones. When things go sideways, how do people handle it,
Thinking of like how you're making the world eerie, what kind of ways do you kind of lean into in terms of like sound and visuals to like keep people on edge throughout the game?
Yeah, our audio team kills it. They're really good. I really kept thinking about it like in spots, like almost like a horror movie where you want to hear that creak on the floorboards and you're like, uh-oh, something's about to happen. And you hear that subtle music turning up. So we try to do that both through audio and visuals a lot, just to kind of set the tone just a moment before you get into it. As a smart game player, maybe that's your chance to back out if you don't feel prepared.
So you're like, oh no, I did nothing in my inventory.
I don't feel like I'm equipped for this yet. And then it gives you a chance so that it's not like, oh, I stumble into something and insta-death. Oh,
I was talking to someone a minute ago and they said like, oh, what if I just go too far too early, go the wrong way too early, and then I end up in like a boss fight or something? Like, oh no, but hopefully the audio will tell you if you're getting somewhere a bit dangerous.
You should get a hint that it's not a good idea, but it is possible because we've got so many interconnected spaces. You can get into a very tricky situation really quick, and if you're stubborn about it, it's going to be hard on you.
How big is the open world in terms of like if you just stumble into something, like how big do you is it like to try and fathom the world of Atomfall?
So we've got kind of these interconnected sandbox spaces, which are big outdoor spaces, and there's, depending on how you classify it, maybe 5 or 6 of those, and most of them are close to 1 kilometer across. We try to aim for like not open, boring travel. Like we try to make it dense. You think, it doesn't sound that far, but in reality, it's going to take some caution and some observation to get your way through that. And you're probably going to stumble off and find some little nook or cave or interior space that you might want to investigate along the way.
Ending up on a side quest.
Yep.
And then never going back to the main quest line again.
Well, technically, we don't even have quests, so it's all leads where you get to play the detective and choose what you want to investigate and follow. And then it's an interconnected story that can lead you in different spots.
So with the choices as well, like how much impact do your choices as a player have on the actual rest of the world and the characters around you?
Substantial.
Yeah.
You can make certain choices that will make your life difficult in certain areas permanent. We have multiple different endings. If you were to kill certain people, you could shut down some of those endings. There's still always a way to complete the game though, but how you need to go about doing it could vary depending on the choices you made. Ideally, we let people, be a little aggressive if they want to, or be a pacifist if they want to, and either option's fine to progress.
What was your kind of favorite part of the actual creation of this game?
I really like just general world building and nature a lot, so being able to make a big woodland level was pretty cool. Layering on the weirdness a little bit afterwards was tons of fun.
Is there any like small, like little hidden secrets that that you've specifically put into the game for players to find?
Yes.
There
we
go.
Many.
I'm gonna have to find all of them now. Are we thinking like a leaf is maybe got something written on it, or there's something to turn over that we can find?
There are lots of things you can find, and there's lots of little nooks that you just might not even be aware of.
This is going to make me hyper-focus on finding all of these now.
Yeah, you're going to burn some time on this one.
That's really cool. Oh, well, thank you very much for talking to me.
Yeah.
I'm really so excited for this. It's really nice to see something that is, like, again, set in Britain, and that we get to experience a bit of a different part of history that I feel like a lot of people maybe don't even know about. Because I actually didn't before Atomfall was a thing. I had no idea about the history of Windscale, etc. Super exciting.
Yeah. Well, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And cheers.
Oh, cheers.
If
I've
you
already
choose.
had one. I can't have another. I'm driving tonight. I'll be good.